Hey, howdy, hey. It is almost the end of 2022. Thank you so much for clicking on the Catchin with Carter video today on YouTube. Thank you so much. This is number 15 for me, and it's been a great year. A lot of really good interviews this week, and all of them together have been awesome and interesting, so I'm really happy and thankful for all of those. So, a little story before I go into who I'm interviewing. In November, my family, all of us, we took a ride out to DeKalb, and we went to that really neat building on campus. Looks like a castle, something hall, Ardgalt Hall or something. It's a really cool building. But they had an event called Dark Arts and Oddity Con, and we got there. I looked a little into it and saw there was different people coming. Nobody I really knew, I didn't think. And we get there, and there's a whole bunch of cool vendors. One guy had insects that he put in frames, but they're really vibrant colored ones. I mean, real ones. Really neat decor. He made a place that makes candles, but it comes with a haunted story with the candles. We met a guy that invented his own board game about serial killers. Somebody that drew Little Mermaid in the actual movie, and a few other people. And one other person I met, super down to earth guy. He's a veteran. He's an actor. He's a father. He's an author. His name's Santiago Cirilo, otherwise known as Julio in season 4 of Walking Dead. In the prison, he was in that. He was also a Detective Martinez in Nashville. He's been in commercials. He's been on stuff on Lifetime, I think, or Hallmark. I don't know. He's been in a bunch of stuff. Right now, he's even in a movie that is streaming right now live on that is streaming now on Paramount Plus. So here in a moment, after I play this little PSA I made for the Pegasus Special Riders out of Oregon that had wind damage, I play a little commercial for them, help them. They help people with mental illnesses, disabilities, physical, mentally, also stuff with depression. They use horses. They had wind damage to their farm and destroyed some of their buildings, their arena. So I did a little PSA. After that, we're going to be back with actor, author, veteran, father, Santiago Cirilo from The Walking Dead, Nashville, and other commercials you may know. Talk to you soon. Hello, everyone. As we are wrapping gifts and wrapping up the 2022 season, we are thinking of others that are in need help. There's so many people you can help and donate to and volunteer with, and they are all appreciative, and so are we. But if you're looking for a place that's special, that maybe not get as much attention as a lot of other places might, well, then I got a place for you in the Ogle County area. It's called Pegasus Special Riders. They've been around 25 years helping people with mental illnesses, depression, physical disabilities, and they are very important. They're an organization that provides children and adults with special needs an activity that is both therapeutic and fun in a safe, supportive, non-competitive environment. Each client's weekly lesson includes both riding and care of the horse, so a relationship can develop between the person and the animal. Primary clients are individuals with disabilities who benefit physically, emotionally, cognitively through animal-assisted activities, primarily through interaction with horses. This place in March of 2022 suffered major damage to its facilities, its arena specifically, and there's pictures online, where it was destroyed by wind damage. And they still need a little help. They haven't had any events there, and they're still need a little help. If you want to check out more and help them out, please check out PegasusSpecialRiders.org. And you could donate there, or you could sign up to volunteer. So please, during the holiday season of 2022, if you're in the giving spirit, check out PegasusSpecialRiders.org. Welcome back to the Catching Up with Carter and Fam show on YouTube right now. It's going to be on some more platforms real soon. I am here with a very special guy, man, a very down-to-earth gentleman I met at this convention in DeKalb, which I can't wait to go to more. Now I got this fever of going to Comic-Cons. But welcome Santiago Cirilo from all kinds of stuff from Nashville, the show, commercials, also The Walking Dead. He's an author. He's a veteran. He's a really nice guy. Welcome. How are you, Bo?
Hi, yeah. What's up, bro?
Man, not much. How you doing? It's New Year, almost New Year's Eve. We got New Year's Eve tomorrow. We talked we're not going to do too much, but what's it like in Tennessee right now? Is it snowy down there right now, or is it kind of warm?
No, actually, we went through a cold spell where Jack Frost farted and kind of like froze everything. But we're warm up in the 50s. We'll be in the 70s in a few days. But that's usually how it goes.
Well, okay, so let's talk about you. How did you? I know you're an actor and you're an author, and I got to buy your book, and you got other stuff going on. But let's hear a little bit of background. Where are you from, and how? What did you do before acting?
Well, I was born in Fajardo, Puerto Rico, in '73, man, and pretty much my family got involved in Ford company business and moved into the States, and I ended up being raised in Lorain, Ohio, and just got involved in a lot of street stuff, gangs and everything, and all that crazy stuff, and dealt with abuse from my father, dealt with different health problems with my mother, and it's just simply living life. And I ended up in Columbus, Ohio, going to college and working, studying law and criminology, and just partying my way around, and ended up sitting in a big conference room or outside in the area, and it was just thinking what to do with my life, man. And this recruiter comes in, he goes, "Hey, you got a light for a cigarette?" I was like, "You got a contract?" He's like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, dude, I gotta grow up." So yeah, man, I joined the army like that, and became an infantryman. I was in the infantry at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and just freaking did my army career for about 8 years, and stayed in Fort Campbell / Tennessee.
And what'd you say your MOS was?
I was 11 Bravo, 11 Hotel. I was in the infantry.
Oh wow. So where did you go while being in the army? Where did you go on tour? Did you go anywhere?
I got orders. I was in Fort Benning, Georgia, in infantry school, and I ended up had to do a meeting with the major, and he was like giving me questions about Hispanic stuff, if I know how to read, write, speak, and all that. And he goes, "Yeah," and he goes, "All right." And then 2 days later after that, they go, "Hey, we got good news and bad news." And it's like, the good news is you're gonna go home for Christmas. The bad news is you got 3 days after to report to Panama. So I had to go, and I was involved in a real world mission in Panama, and dealt with the first Iraqi war while I was in basic. I mean, there's a lot of things, but my family's been in this since World War II, so it's, yeah, we were always about it. My brother was in the Navy, my grandfather was in World War II, so it was all set in stone that it had to be. So yeah, dude, after I did the army, I just stayed around and went to school, got a law degree, while I was working for Gibson Guitar, making guitars for the stars, man. That was an experience.
So you went from the army, which I want to talk a little bit more about too, because my brother served a little while. He went in, I think in '08. He didn't stay too long. He got out. But anyway, enough about that. He served down in, he went to boot camp in Fort Benning. And he said that was like no joke down there, how hot it is and what kind of stuff you had to go through in boot camp.
Yeah, man, that big Georgia clay, bro. Where freaking you sweat to the point where even mosquitoes sweat.
So you got out, and then you ended up working on working on a degree again, and then you started working for Gibson Guitar. And
yeah, man.
What'd you do there?
Well, here's the deal, man. My military brothers in my unit, we're like well known in history, and we're 101st is the first to go everywhere. So 101st Airborne, we've been through a lot, but a friend of mine got out, and he was like depressed. He just couldn't deal with civilian life. He couldn't deal with civilians, and he was working for Gibson, and he knew I was getting out, and they spoke with Gibson, and they did a trade. He got out, and I went in, and when I was in Gibson, I also was going to school at night, studying law. But when I was in Gibson, um, they put me as a sander and different jobs because I was doing too much, and showing, and some people thought I was showing off, or some people thought I was making a bad name for them. But as you know, man, when you go in the military, just like you eat, you freaking eat it now and taste it later. So I was, just a sander. They had to pull like 300 guitars a week, sand it, get it ready for prep for paint. I was doing 300 within 2 days.
Damn, my man.
Yeah, dude. So I was in a whole different level zone. I couldn't talk to nobody. I didn't know. I was gone for a while. My mind was somewhere else, and I was trained to do something else. And even when we had to interact with civilians, we were trained to how to talk to people. So anyway, bottom line is I got to be one of the main creators of guitars for Gibson, which, I mean, they gave me a painted piece of wood, and I put it together and soldered it, did the mechanics, the neck, the strings, tuned it, literally put it all together, everything. And I tuned it up, and it got final expected and went on its way. Well, I did such a good job that I started doing it for the stars: Kid Rock, Aerosmith, ZZ Top, Lenny Kravitz, you name it. I mean, on and on and on and on. And I did that for a while, and ended up graduating, and I ended up getting a paralegal job in Nashville, working for a law firm.
Wow. Okay. So how did we go from there then into the acting business?
Like I said, man, when you get out of the military, your mentality is just, to me, I call it perfection. Okay, so you want me to build a garage, I'll build it. It's like, it's got to be done in 30 days. I'll probably build it in 2 days. That's how quick, fast, nonstop. Mission got to be accomplished. So I was working for this law firm, and I was settling more cases than their lawyers. They gave me, you want to talk about, I had a presidential office. The lawyers were in a little office. I had the biggest office in the firm. I was handling the law firm while the partners, one of the major partner lived in Israel.
Dang.
Then I became his personal assistant. Then he wanted to pay for law school and wanted me to be an attorney. I was making him a lot of money. Then I ended up being his personal assistant and personal paralegal. So not only was I working till 11 o'clock at night, sometimes on the weekends I had to do shopping, Christmas gifts, and do errands and all this stuff for him while he lived in Israel and mail it to Israel. Anyway, long story short, I was overworked and underpaid. And I was sitting at my break room in the work, and there was this commercial. Hey, you want to be an actor? Want to get involved in the entertainment business? So I took a 2-year course to know the business and everything about the entertainment business. And I auditioned, went to Texas to a big conference for agents. And I auditioned and got picked up by Dakota Fanning's agent, Osbrink Agency in LA. And I flew out to LA for a few months, and I was like, this ain't me. I don't like this whole world. This is career. This is different. And I've been traveling around. I mean, so the tax breaks opened and fixed in the South, Georgia, Louisiana, Tennessee. So I went back to Tennessee, and then I was still living in Tennessee. I was still married. I was just trying out my dream, Anyway, long story short, the breaks came in, the studios came in. Instead of paying mega crazy money or certain money to get people from LA, they got introduced to the Southern actors kind of deal, and entertainers. And hey, need the bilingual Hispanic. I was doing a lot of things, modeling, commercials, and man, I've been on a lot of TV shows and movies. Within a year, I was on global stuff before I was on The Walking Dead.
Well, yeah, that I saw some of the commercials you did. I watched somebody's video where he put like a little compilation of stuff that you've done. What are some of the commercials and movies you've done before we talk about Walking Dead in Nashville? What are some of the other things you've done in movies?
Well, I have done in commercials, I did global commercials. I had Super Bowl commercials that did a lot of the food chains. I did a commercial for the first Michael Bay Transformers for as a restaurant chain called Sonic. So I did their commercials. And then I started modeling for certain clothes. I did music videos for like Big and Rich, the Music City Mafia, Big Smo. All these artists that started doing their stuff. And, a lot of these production companies loved my energy, man. And they, just because you see a director doing a small commercial doesn't mean he ain't going to do a movie. They take different kind of gigs and everything. So I was in the market. I was easy to get contact because I had an agent, you know, and I started doing got into TV shows through History Channel, the reenactment stuff, and ID Channel, and then I got into Lifetime movies, and then did, of course, Hallmark movies, and then it just built and kept building. Then I did major stuff, and I did USA Network. I did a movie for them. And then I ended up doing a TV show, a few episodes with Jason Lee in TNT, Memphis Beat TV show. I did a movie Wild Card, even, man, I even on the show back in the days, America's Most Wanted, which I had the most hits and the biggest show in their history.
I saw it.
So, I did a lot of stuff, and the great thing is that, like I said before, there's a lot of companies that own companies. Not a lot of people didn't know that at one time Fox owned AMC. So I was doing. I had an audition with Fox to do a miniseries, and then I did the audition. Had a third callback, which usually a third callback you get the gig or so. And then they hired a friend. They hired a friend over me, which is common. Even though they do auditions, they hire people that, their friends, keep it in their network. So the day of the shooting, early in the morning, my agent calls me and was like, "Hey, that producer's about to call you." When one of their lead characters flaked on them. So they gave me a call and they said, "How fast can you be in Louisville?" I said, "A few hours." I had to learn the script and everything. Of course, they'll be like, "We really picked you first, but we had to go with the investor's friend," and all that, yeah, whatever. So while I was out there, man, I was doing their show and nailed it and everything. And I get a call from my agent, sounded like she had a heart attack. She goes, "Hey, you're on The Walking Dead. How quick can you get to Georgia?" I was like, "The Walking what?" She goes, "Yeah, The Walking Dead." I was like, "What's that?"
No way.
They explained to me the whole show and everything. And it was cool, man. I enjoyed on set. Everybody enjoyed me because I didn't know what the show was. So we got all, with the cast and crew. We just talk about simple shit in life.
Yeah, I was gonna say I got a few questions about that. Which prison did they use? Is it just an old prison before and it's abandoned, or what?
Studio. They actually had a company that builds prisons and had them come in and they build in a hangar. The main studio is like a couple of hangars and a whole bunch of trailers, and then a slab of freaking concrete in the middle of nowhere across the railroad tracks. Where I think they bought out the neighbors and had to buy their houses because they were letting people camp in the front yards, charging them to watch the actors get into the studio.
Wow, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, man, it's like a couple of hangars. They build the whole jail inside, but them jail cells and the second floor and all them, that's all real shit. Everything across it from out was fake. Open the door and you're out in the studio. But once you enter that C block, that's all real, dude.
So what about the outside part of it then?
The outside is part of the studio. It's the yard. They build the tower. The tower was real. They built it. They just put fence around the studio and then put little fronts on things that the buildings and made it look like there was buildings there.
That is crazy. That shit looks legit.
It looks real as heck.
So I saw you're on 2 episodes of that, but how long were you there on set for The Walking Dead then?
I was there for a few months, dude. I was there for a few months. There was more involvement with my character. There was more things to be told. The problem is that at that time, and this is just me talking, and it's just rumored around, I had a bigger role. I either pissed off some executive producers because I didn't know. I was, hey, I'm in Georgia filming. You know, that's when Twitter was around big, you know. And I was like, hey, I'm in Georgia filming this zombie show. Well, I didn't know the damn thing was like the #1 show on the planet, you know. So they got a little ticked off about it. And then at the same time, they were going through a lawsuit. And now they're going through another lawsuit. So a lot of things broke apart, you know. And it just went on and on to where it's at now. But yeah, I still had open contract with them. So it was, you know, they contacted my agent, they did the contracts and everything.
I was gonna say, now when we were there at that our Dark Arts Con with my family, and I got a couple comics from you. I got them still here. I gave one to my really good friend Lennon. He's a huge fan of The Walking Dead, so he loved that for his Christmas gift. But I heard a lady say, "Man, I was upset that you got killed off," and then you said, "Well, you might want to wait." Can I? What does that mean?
Well, here's the thing. There's no official thing of me dying. There was 2 different scripts. There was 2 different things. One was me being a walker and jumping up and trying to kill Glenn, because that's when they were teasing Glenn's death a lot. And then the other was a survivor, which at that time I was being told around through the certain crew members in the production that they were trying to create the whole story of Lee through me, through the video game from season 4, Lee.
Dang.
And there was other stuff involved. We did get permission through some cool connections that we can do a fan base. We have written a fan base continuation of that show, like a mini little thing. But we held it off because we got involved in a lot of other projects and movies we've done and we're doing.
So as far as The Walking Dead, and on that 5 months or 4 months that you were there, who of the cast did you learn the most from, or who did you get closest with?
Scott Wilson, Herschel.
Man, he's one of my favorite characters too, that guy.
Great soul, amazing man. And it was funny because I think I surprised them. Like I said, remember, I'm going in there not knowing nobody. So, you know, when I met Andrew Lincoln, I thought he was security following me around. Yeah, dude, it's crazy. And then when I met, you know, Scott Wilson, I was like, hey, you're Scott Wilson. And he goes, yeah. I goes, man, I love your shows in Streets of San Francisco. I was naming old 70s shows and stuff. And I didn't know he was Herschel.
That's crazy.
Yeah, dude. We were just talking, chatting, and he loved it because, you know, and then, you know, everybody had to explain to him that's the guy, you know, that doesn't know what's going on. I didn't know what's going on, you know, because everybody was amazed because I didn't know The Walking Dead.
Have you seen it all now?
Yeah, man. I've seen plenty of it. I know a lot of the actors, a lot of people that worked on the show. We're still connected and good friends.
Did you feel that was a pivotal point for your acting career then, to kind of not only get some really good experience and meet some great people also, but...
I've been doing stuff before that. You know, I hung around with Jason Lee. I freaking hung around and did movies with people that worked on Michael Bay movies, you know, and other hit TV shows and stuff. And it just... I think I was already coming out. There was already a boost because I was nonstop, dude. I was just going everywhere nonstop before Comic-Cons. I was filming here, you know, and with Walking Dead, it just clicked open. And then I got introduced to the whole con circuit. And I'm like, what? People want my autograph? What?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, dude. And then from the con circuit, I got introduced to more in the independent world and in the paranormal world through the History Channel people. So I was doing paranormal hunting and investigations. And at the same time, I was filming movies, independent movies that were streaming everywhere: Hulu, Paramount, Tubi, Netflix, all that shit.
Speaking of Paramount, you have something out right now that just came out recently, right, on Paramount Plus?
Yeah, Beast of the Water. It's Beast of the Water. It was written by and directed by Rashad Santiago, who won season 6 of Sci-Fi Channel's Face Off for special effects, and produced by Rick Prince, who was in season 4, who was a director and writer and special effect artist. And and it stars myself, EC3 wrestler, pro wrestler EC3, pro wrestler and Fox commentator Tyrus, aka Brodus Clay, and a few of the original Power Rangers: Steve Cardenas, the Red Ranger, Jason Font, the Red Turbo Ranger, Gigi Edgley, who worked on Farscape, Sci-Fi Channel's Farscape. We just had a great time, dude, and it's out now. We had it on the market. Hulu hit it, and everybody else, and Paramount Plus has it, so it's doing good. It's doing good.
That's what's up. I want to go back real quick to one more Walking Dead question, only because I heard you, well, more like you explained something, because you were telling my stepson Jackson about the process of those people that are the zombies. Can you talk about that a little bit first before we go to the next question?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. Here's the deal, man. I highly recommend you guys to reach out to these guys who are walkers, who did the makeup, who are actors doing the walkers and playing zombies, or even people that are featured or how do you say, extras featured and all that, and these horror movies. And these guys sit on these tables or these chairs for minimum of 5 hours, and they're performing and doing all this, and they're doing it like every day. All right, come back, take an eye, put this makeup on, go back, and they're moved around like chess pieces all over the place. And of course they get recognition and all that through their face. Well, yeah, I was this walker, and they use a lot of these actors continuously. My friend Michael Koski, who's a well-known walker and did a special walker in dedication to George Romero, Night of the Living Dead. But he's in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's in a lot of stuff, and they're selling these characters on toy lines, T-shirts. You name it, just market. Walking Dead market. A lighter I could pick up a lighter and I can tell you who the actor is. They're not getting none of that money. Zero money. And they get paid under SAG how do you say, regulations, but it is also a right to work state. So they're not getting any of the market money. They get paid per hour or whatever, but they're still getting that SAG low pay. So they're not getting, because you got to speak a certain amount of words to get a raise. You got to be on the set a certain amount of hours to get a raise. All this shit. Be a co-star, all that is different. Those are different contracts. For them, they're just getting that flat rate and trying to get them out of there under 8 hours. Some of them stay there for 12 hours or 13 hours or whatever. I'm dead serious, man. You guys got to give a lot of respect to these guys. And if you see them at cons and people are like, oh, he's just a walker, he has put more hours than the main cast.
That's really interesting to think about that. I was going to ask you, because when you mentioned about how you went to some college to your course for acting, do you think now, looking back, do you think that's necessary, or what do you suggest for somebody that's a young, aspiring actor?
I suggest this. I tell everyone, the best thing to do is know the business. don't know the I'm gonna be an actor, give me an agent that know the business, what to write off in taxes, what's it gonna cost you to travel, listen to other people's work and struggles, how they, because you're gonna be independent. You're starting as Sam's Corner Store before you become Walmart. So you got to network. You got to know the business. You got to know you're going to be spending money. You got to know you're going to have a full-time or a part-time job added to that. You got to know how to do headshots. You got to know how to reach an agent. You got to know how to travel around, audition, with all the money, all that stuff. So know the business part. And then you get to the thinner, easy portion. Auditioning is not a problem. It's good to audition. It's good. That's what you want. More auditions. Getting the gig, it's done. You don't have to worry about it. Get the gig. The reason why is because auditions are more important because your face is constantly being shown. The gig, you got the job. Either they sell it or not, you got the job. If you get lucky, it becomes a franchise or whatever. But getting them auditions perfected, getting that network grown, from talking to fellow actors to being part of a production set to knowing a director, right? I mean, it's a lot of work, but is it worth it? Depends on where your soul's at for it. People get involved in it. I'm going to take golf, and they spend thousands of dollars on golf equipment, and now the golf is as dusty as the Bible in the corner of the house.
I do that with gym memberships, or I used to, and then I got wise because I'm like, every New Year's I get a gym membership.
Get more exercise in a 1 hour gym by walking through the woods barefooted or knowing nature without any noise or anything.
And that's what I do now.
More calories and everything.
Absolutely. But I remember buying all kinds of different gym memberships and then not going, or how many people I've seen bought a treadmill and it never gets used either.
Yeah, dude, you gotta motivate your soul so you can control your mind. It's easy to make decisions with your mind because it's like when you get hungry, you think with your mind, not your stomach, and then you buy over product stuff. You got leftovers for 2 weeks. Some of the stuff you throw away, and you spent more money than you need to eat on that one day.
How do you find sometimes you see on like Craigslist or something, you see actors needed, and I don't know if those are real or not. Like, how do people get to be just extras and things on different shows?
Social media and networking, bro. Actors Access is well known for a major site for actors to get known or whatever. You could submit auditions, whether you have an agent or not. There's different websites out there, but social media, there's Extras Casting. There in different states, Extra Casting Georgia, Extra Casting, know where the movie industry is in the TV industry, and the marketing industry. You want to talk about marketing industry, you're talking about selling clothes, doing commercials. That's New York, that's Chicago, that's LA. You want to talk about filming movies, that's LA. You want filming TV shows, that's Chicago, New York. But now with the tax incentive so big, majority of production is in the South. Georgia, Louisiana, Arkansas, Alabama. There's so many states. Ohio. I could go on and on, and it's just a tax break. And now people are making movies and besides Marvel and all the studio stuff they got to use. There's studios that are being built in the South now because just everybody's broken in big cities and they want to save money. So a lot of that stuff that's being done down south, and it's still a right to work state. So if I get a job working for ABC or whatever, and I got to film it in the right to work state, and I don't want to be in the union, they got to pay me the union and respect my whole union contract, even though I'm not union. So they're saving them a lot of money in every way possible.
There you go.
Get involved, man. It's worth it. It's worth for the ride. You never know. You want to be an actor, you end up being a writer, director, and whatever. I know
I know they use ugly people, so maybe I can be used sometime too. I like my voice better, but
there's stereotype, of course, but people always say, man, I don't look like one of them. I don't know. That's not true. I mean, look at the shows.
Right, I know.
All that, and never consider yourself ugly, bro. Always consider yourself a great species of another kind.
This guy's good. I like him. You need to do one of those affirmation videos like Snoop Dogg just released.
Oh my God.
I don't know if you've seen it yet, but it's like, you're beautiful. You're great. It's actually kind of uplifting though.
That's what I do, man. I do podcasts.
Yeah, talk about you a little bit more. I want to talk about your book too, but go ahead. Talk about your podcast. What do you have and where do you go to find it?
Well, my book is A Veteran's Homecoming, and I have another one called Zombie Headhunter, which those both got stories how they became books when they were originally supposed to be TV shows and movies. Because I do screenwriting, but the network and the avenue of approach, it's cheaper to get it out there, and so people can read and go into that world of fantasy and everything else. By reading it and catch eyes of people. Hey, this needs to be a book. Needs to be a movie or whatever, And I hooked the writing hooked up with the podcast stuff because all of it is in reference to bullying, to suicide awareness, mental health awareness, and the negativity that's in this world. And I try to do it, and it's like, putting the message together through my writing and my art, and then putting it into a podcast added to that, and just tour, man. I just go around, even when I'm on set or when I'm doing conventions.
Yeah. Okay. So the 2 books, and the last one was, well, you said the Veterans Homecoming, but how do you get those? Where do you go to buy them? Because I saw you were posting on Instagram, buy my book, and I want to buy one too. Will you sign it if we buy it online, or how's that work?
Amazon. You can download it. You can get paperback, and Veterans Homecoming's on hardcover. Zombified is in paperback, but it will be in hardcover next year, the year coming up, for the release of book 2. So both of them, it's going to be a series. It is a series, but a Veterans Homecoming, after my best friend committed suicide, I wrote a story. And then I had more friends that died in combat. I had more friends that died of suicide that I served with, along with other people's stories involved, men and women of service. So I took all the characters' real life events and put it into one character. And I made a story like a Hallmark movie. I thought Hollywood and the news media was promoting veterans as crazy, sick, got issues, need help, like a little poodle or a little dog in the corner. When people need to understand that there's always a happy ending, there is a right thing, and there is a honest thing of respecting veterans. And so I put it in this book. So it has everything you need to know within 97 pages. And the reason I did 97 pages was because I want people to see it as a script and a book, but I wanted to tell the story as quick and easy as possible, because think about it, a lot of people read books and they don't finish it. They'll leave it in the corner, and I want this book to be like, oh man, 97 pages, I'm already done, and then they pass it on.
I love that. I'm going to grab that, and my lady and I are going to read that, because we stand behind this stuff fully, 100%, mental health awareness and suicide awareness and depression. A lot of people that will listen to this, we all had a real good friend of ours, Holden, and we lost him a couple years to suicide and depression. And there's not a day that goes by that I don't try to think about what can I do to help somebody else or myself, to have a better day or whatever. And I love that you did that. I think that's honorable.
Man, I was just raised to be right, and like Zombified, the Headhunter book, is the same thing. I didn't put no cuss words and no sexual innuendos. I just did a horror story, a fan horror creature feature kind of story that, it involves zombies, but I put my own creatures that I grew up with that I idolized through the horror realm, which is like Dracula, the Wolfman, Frankenstein, a lot of things like that. And I wanted that teenager to see that, hey, you could do a good story without putting any kind of crazy of nudity or anything else, and just have a great horror story kind of deal. So that's one reason I did that, and added the Bully Breaker and the Haya Nation thing to show people that you could follow your dreams and always be you. And it's just a good thing combination, man. And soon both of them will be TV shows or a movie. But other than that, I just keep doing. I push every realm of entertainment I can, and through this podcast, through this meet and greets, and I'm touring now. I'm self-funding a book tour, which usually conventions help you out, but I'm doing it to support small businesses and entrepreneurs. So I will do big conventions, meet a lot of great people, but I got to remember Joe Schmo's Corner Store, and I'll go in there, I'll do a signing, I'll pay for it all, and give them publicity and wear their t-shirt, their coffee mug, and hopefully they get better business. Because let's just face it, the economy is the shit, and we're bouncing back from this so-called pandemic thing, and everybody needs it, because corporate America was still pumping their hearts and taking money from people, and these small businesses, nobody gave a crap about, and they went either gone or sold or still striving in the last thread of straw, so that's one of my major things. And hopefully this all realm of entertainment, Haya Nation, the books, the movies, my personal shows I'm going to be doing, and movies, and it's all giving back. I promise you that.
Man, Santi, I really appreciate your time, and I love all that what you just said. We support that. Small business owners. We support everybody of any color, any nation, any. You know what I mean? You gotta hold each other up these days, man. And you absolutely. I appreciate your time so much. Please follow Santiago Cirilo. He's on Instagram. He's on Facebook. He's on IMDb. He's on a bunch of stuff. He produces. He's an author. He's an actor. He's a father, a veteran, all these things. He's a great guy. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, man, for having me, bro. I appreciate you and your family. Have a great, successful, and continuous success in the next year and beyond.
Yeah. All right, everybody, that was Santiago Cirilo. He was on season 4 of Walking Dead. He was Detective Martinez on the show Nashville. He's been on different shows, even America's Most Wanted. He did some stuff on, some commercials. He wrote a couple books. He's got more coming out. He tours around and goes to Comic-Cons and different types of things like that. Stay tuned with the guy. He's on Instagram. He's got merch. He's on Facebook. He's on IMDb. Got quite a bit of stuff on there if you want to research him. Check him out, Santiago Cirilo, please. Okay, guys, this is going to be my last podcast, most likely, of 2022. Thank you so much for supporting me. And let me tell you, I had a perfect one for our ending for this season, and I can't wait to see what next year is bringing me. I got a couple good ones, I can tell you that. But I really enjoyed this season, and I'm really glad that my spark is back. So, follow us, Catching Up with Carter and Fam, on Facebook, on Instagram. Also, if you have a Airbnb or a podcast idea, or you want some work from my beautiful voice, just kidding, but not really. Anyway, if you want to email about any of those things, catchingupwithcarter@gmail.com. Okay? Please have a safe New Year's Eve. Please have a great new year. And I can't wait to be talking to you in 2023. Take care.
Thank you for spending an hour of your time with us. Now will you do yourself a favor? Check us out on Catching Up with Carter and Fam Show. Do yourself another favor and follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Insta. Our dog's also up there, so you'll be doing yourself a third favor. And we'll see you next week. Toodles!